It was June 8th, 1924. High on the slopes of Mount Everest, two British climbers, George Mallory and Andrew Irvine, set out on what would be their final attempt to reach the summit. Everest, known as the roof of the world, had long been a dangerous enigma, a mountain that devoured explorers, where the cold could steal your breath and the thin air could steal your life. Mallory and Irvine, driven by a relentless ambition, had faced the deadly mountain before, but this time, they were determined to conquer it. Mallory was an experienced mountaineer, while Irvine, younger and less experienced, had his own dreams of greatness. The pair climbed higher and higher, pushing through the icy winds and the swirling snow, hoping they would be the ones to leave their names etched into history. But as the sun dipped below the horizon on June 8th, the two climbers were never seen again. And as the days stretched into weeks, the world was left with a haunting question. What happened to Mallory and Irvine? The disappearance of Mallory and Irvine became an enduring mystery, one that haunted mountaineers and explorers alike. There were whispers, stories that suggested the men had reached the summit, only to vanish into the mountain's frozen grip. But Everest had a way of hiding its secrets. Expeditions were launched year after year, hoping to find answers, but each ended in failure, with no trace of the men. Some said the mountain had claimed them, as it had claimed so many others before. Others believed they had made it to the summit, only to perish in the icy desolation of the mountain slopes. But no one knew for sure, and with each failed search, the mystery deepened, becoming darker. There were rumors that the men had encountered something unnatural, something that had claimed their lives in a way that no one could explain. The mountain had a malevolent energy, a presence that some said could drive climbers mad, as if the very air was alive, waiting to swallow them whole. Then, in 1999, over 70 years after their disappearance, the search for answers took a chilling turn. Conrad Anker, a seasoned mountaineer, and his team ascended Everest, determined to solve the mystery of Mallory and Irvine. Their goal was simple: to find Mallory's body. But what they would discover would leave them questioning not just the men's fate, but the very nature of the mountain itself. On May 1st, 1999, at an altitude of about 26,000 feet, the team made a discovery that would send shockwaves through the mountaineering world. They found a body, frozen and preserved in the mountain's icy grip. At first, they thought it could be anyone, but the closer they looked, the more it became clear. It was George Mallory. The body was shockingly well preserved, though a sense of unease lingered in the air. Mallory's clothes, still intact, from the 1924 expedition, were a testimony to his doomed climb. But it wasn't just Mallory's body that gave the team pause. It was the feeling that something was wrong. The air grew colder, as if the mountain itself was alive, watching and waiting. As Anker and his team carefully inspected the body, a sense of dread filled the space. Mallory had been found face down, as though he had fallen in a desperate attempt to escape something. But the strangest thing was what he still had on him: a camera. The same camera he had carried on that fateful climb. It was almost as if the camera was the last link to a secret that Mallory had taken to his grave. The camera film was carefully developed, and what emerged was nothing short of terrifying. The photo showed Everest, but it wasn't just any photo. The angle of the shot indicated the only place it could have been taken: from the summit. Mallory had been so close. He had reached the top of Everest. But as the realization hit, so did a darker thought. If Mallory and Irvine had made it to the summit, why were they found so far below it, in a place where they could never have fallen by accident? It seemed almost as if the mountain had intentionally dragged them down, or perhaps kept them there. There were rumors from previous expeditions, whispers of strange noises heard late at night, unexplained shadows seen in the distance, and an overwhelming sense of being watched. It was as though Everest wasn't just a mountain. It was something alive, and it wanted to keep its secrets. Had Mallory and Irvine made it back to their tent? Or had something unseen and unfathomable taken them from the mountain's peak and dragged them into the abyss below? Their bodies, frozen and lifeless, seemed to answer the question. but the mystery only deepened. The photograph of the summit was a cruel reminder of what they had achieved and what they had lost. Some climbers, after hearing the story of the 1924 expedition, claimed to feel the presence of Mallory and Irvine on the mountain, a presence that seemed to follow them, as if the climbers were never truly alone. Many said that Everest had a way of claiming not just the bodies of those who climbed it, but their souls as well. The mountain, after all, had been watching them for decades, waiting for its story to be told.